This classic episode of the Electric Playground is brought to you by PNP Games, your source for everything video games. Support the partners that support Electric Playground. Remember, this episode first aired in 1998.
Hello, my name is Ahern. Today on the Electric Playground, we're going to talk about sin and tomorrow never dies.
Thank everybody for coming out today to see Nintendo's quick debut of Banjo-Kazooie. Actually, before I get running with the demo, are there any questions that I could answer?
Victor Lucas from Electric Playground?
Yeah, Victor?
I'd like to know who came up with these crazy names for Banjo-Kazooie. They're wacky.
Guys at Rare, they always like coming up with twisted names for their games. I think this goes way back to even before the Donkey Kong Country series. My favorite is probably Mambo, the Witch Doctor. When you go in there, you hear some Mambo-like music.
Why has the game been delayed so often?
I think that in general, you want to ship your game when the team is happy. The only thing that matters is, not is it finished, but is it finished to perfection?
Is Banjo and Kazooie a larger game than Mario 64?
The way we like to judge the games here at Nintendo is exactly how long does it take the best player that knows exactly what they're doing. Mario 64 can be beaten in about 5.5 hours. Banjo-Kazooie, no one's been able to beat it in under 8.5 hours. And again, these are people that are beating the game over and over and over. We didn't have anybody at Nintendo that was able to beat this game the first time in under 40 hours.
What do you say about critics that compare Banjo-Kazooie to Super Mario 64 and say it's pretty much the same thing?
This game is definitely riding the shoulders of Mario. It's taken the lessons that Mr. Miyamoto taught the world about the creation of a 3D adventure game, and it's building on that. This team is comprised of people that did Donkey Kong Country 1 and 2. Some of these guys go farther back. Is there anybody else who has a question besides Victor? Vic, again?
There have been a few other true 3D platform games appearing since Mario 64 hit the shelves. Games like Croc and Gex 2 and Tomb Raider to some extent. What do you think, and what does Nintendo think about the competition that's out there?
I respect Tomb Raider. Obviously, they were developing that game simultaneously with Mario. I don't feel that any of these games compete directly with Banjo-Kazooie either.
What are some of the biggest challenges in making a game like this?
What it really comes down to is how do you design a level that makes the player feel like they're in an adventure? The player initially feels lost. They have to have some feeling of where am I going and what am I doing? I'm confused, right? As you get deeper into the game, the levels become more and more complex. You get to the point where you have to really explore the level.
Is the humor in the game distinctive to England? I know that a lot of the earlier Nintendo games and some of the more recent Nintendo games have humor that's distinctively Japanese in tone and flavor.
I think that all the Rare games have always had a little bit of English style humor. This game is just packed with humor. Victor, yes.
What are some of the secrets in the game that you can tell us about? What are some of the things that we can look forward to when we play this game?
It doesn't give you the blatant obvious clues. Ride the furry cloud, and you will gain the jiggy, which is what they call the puzzle pieces. You get none of that. So the biggest secret is, how did you get that 10th puzzle piece in level 6? I mean, it's nowhere. I've been every stitch, everywhere in the level. You're gonna have to earn your right to see the ending of this game. And believe me, after you see the opening, you're gonna want to see the ending. Yes, Vic, again.
Can we see the ending, Ken?
No. You're not getting to the ending. I'm about done, but Victor, do you have any questions? Or any more? You sure?
Haha, now you're in the big leagues.
30 times in a row? I didn't expect this when I bought Mortal Kombat 2 from PNP Games.
You thirsty? Get over here!
Guys like me don't get much respect. I mean, I hit big, but there's no deodorant commercial. I make huge plays. I'm not even in a cereal box. But man, I could care less.
Triple Play 99. You've never seen baseball like this.
Whoa.
EA Sports. It's in the game.
You ever get burned by a woman you thought was really nice? I'm here with Masa Nakajima from SquareSoft, and you worked over in the Japanese office, yeah?
Yes, I'm originally from Tokyo, Japan.
How many people do they have working over in Square Japan?
We have about 600 people.
Wow.
Over here, about 200. About 200.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
All working on video games.
Some are working on the movie.
On the movie?
Yeah.
Aha. Can you tell me anything about the movie?
No.
If you need anyone to star in the movie, what would you say is your most popular series? Final Fantasy?
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
We are starting a Final Fantasy 8 project, and also we almost starting the Final Fantasy 9 project.
Really? What other games does Square put out in Japan that will never see the light of day in the States?
The Chocobo games. Japanese people like the chicken.
You get paid to play games?
We play the game over and over and over again, just making sure that there aren't any corruptions.
Who is this here? This is what I want to know.
Well, she's a lovely girl. She's actually going to save the world.
She's going to save the world?
Yes, she is. She's actually going to be battling a young lady called Eve. Parasite Eve is actually a cinematic RPG, roughly around 25 hours. It has multiple endings. It's one of the best cinematic games I've ever seen in my life.
What else you got?
We have Xenogears. It's a 70-hour game.
70 hours?
Huge amounts of text. It's a huge story, very epic. Essentially about a person that awakes from a nasty case of amnesia. It deals with sort of like who we are and what we are.
Who are we? Can you tell us anything about the recent news of Electronic Arts and SquareSoft combining forces?
Square and Electronic Arts will be joining forces to create 2 new joint venture companies.
Square, Electronic Arts, kind of squarts?
Talk to Randy.
Talk to Randy?
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk to Randy then. Randy!
Hey, Tom.
Let's talk a little bit about the products that are being developed here at Square.
This office here, we're doing PC development of FF7. That's one of the main things going on back here. We're also doing localization over on this side.
What exactly goes into localizing?
Mainly thinking like translating. It's just a big translation task.
Right.
But it's that and a lot more. Sometimes there might be like religious issues, swear words or things like that. That might be commonplace over there, but we might want to tone it down.
How many people does it take for a Square RPG? How many people does it take to make that?
Well, guess how many people were on FF7's development team? Just
50 people.
Maybe if you double that and add about 20 or 30 more.
130 people?
Yeah, somewhere in there.
Wow.
Yeah.
What was the budget for Final Fantasy VII?
More than most games combined that are released this year have spent. It's in the tens of millions.
Really? Yeah. Tens of millions of dollars being spent for video games?
When we first released it, the first weekend, we sold more of FF7 over here than the top grossing movie. So more people were buying the game than going to movies.
Amazing.
What's the biggest sin you've ever committed?
What? That's not probably
Stealing?
Yeah.
What did you steal?
I stole a little paper flower from a shoe store.
That's so bad.
I've never murdered anybody.
Well, I've skinny dipped a lot. Is that a sin?
Oh, gosh. Talking back to my parental units.
Oh, you're just saying that because your mom's right here.
Never stolen a great quantity of money or anything like that.
What's the worst sin you've ever committed?
I can't say that on TV.
Apparently the developers over at Ritual Entertainment in Dallas, Texas know all about sin.
Electric Playground, come on in guys, welcome back. We need a new digs, a little different from last time, huh? It looks a little bit better, and we have a lot more space. Let me show you around a little bit. Let's start back in the very end, which is the kitchen and the game room. This is our game room, and it's not quite fully developed yet. We'll also have a pool table in here shortly, and then it goes in hand in hand with our kitchen. Do y'all want a drink?
As you can see in our boardroom, we only have 2 bean bags and a phone, but we're working on the rest.
But we're in business.
This is our programmer's room in here. In the game development cycle, days are long, nights are longer.
Yeah, and I don't even think Jim went home last night.
Where's Michael's girlfriend? Oh, there she is. She's looking good.
Harry's mom. It's always good to see Harry's mom. How'd you get this job, Charlie?
Goofing off at school, making levels.
Goofing off at school, all right.
That's a good lesson to learn.
That's how most kids get into this business.
As a level designer, one of the coolest things about Sin is having the scripting code that Jim Dosé created for us. What it allows us to do is anything we can imagine with the objects in the world. We can rotate them, we can move them, we can control them. There's almost nothing in the game that we cannot control through scripting. You can't do that anywhere else. And this is all handled through scripting, all by the level designer, no extra programming. I definitely get on my knees and worship Jim Dosé for the scripting stuff.
Thank you, Jim, not Master Jim. Thank you.
My car needs to be washed there, Charlie.
I already have all your laundry going. Now!
Now, Matthias just came over from Germany. So how do you like living in Dallas right now?
It's okay. I mean, it's America. It's a little bit different, but it's cool. Especially with all the people in there.
Want to say hi, Mom?
Hello, Mutti. Isn't tomorrow your birthday? Something like that.
Happy birthday.
How old are you going to be? 22.
Woo! You're getting old.
The average age in Virtual Entertainment, 22. Joel does all of our concept art, and he brings sort of like the ideas of characters to life. So, do you have anything to say about your characters?
They're all going to be incredible. These monsters and these creatures are going to reach out, they're going to grab you, they're going to eat your heart out.
Well, now that we show you the space and all the people involved, let's show you a little bit.
Oh, that's right.
Let's show you a little bit of the game. What level is this that you're currently showing us right now?
This is the bank. It's at the very beginning of the game. You are informed that a mob boss has broken into a bank that is in your jurisdiction to protect. And your job is not only to stop the bad guys, but since the bank is paying you, you have to try to recover their money, as well as rescue any hostages that the thugs may have captured.
One of the other things we want to do that's new, we want to see what we can do to push the envelope a little bit further with 3D action games is what can we do to bring the single player aspect back in the game. We're all really big multiplayer guys here, but we realize that there's value if someone plays a game more than once. What can we do to do that? So we came up with ABOs, or action-based outcomes, and it's the ability to play a level, and you might take a door this way or go a hallway down to the left, and you might have totally chosen a different path than the next guy might, and it might totally change your game. So 3 or 4 levels down the game, you might be playing something totally different than what the other guy will, and it'll give you a totally different experience. And we're also considering maybe doing some different endings, and that way the game just plays totally different, and you feel like you chose your own adventure. The stigma that these games get in is it's the same thing, keep seeing the same thing. We want to surprise people. We want them to walk into different levels and just go, oh man, I've never seen that before.
You don't understand, it's after us. It's big. It's got huge teeth, a big beak, bulgy eyes, feathers, fur everywhere.
Yeah, and pigs can fly.
No, bears can fly. Bad guys beware. Here comes Banjo-Kazooie, where you're both bird and bear with amazing powers. There's never been anything like this head-banging, sky-flying, rock-hopping, egg-shooting, tag-teaming duo. Banjo-Kazooie, only for Nintendo.
Big band ballroom dancing video games are making a big comeback in a big way. Now the latest game, Super Swing Dancing 70-Year-Old 64, is... This is Tommy.
Tommy, Vic Lucas here. We've got a mission of utmost importance. We've located Will Body from Black Ops Entertainment in Atlanta. We need you to get to him right away.
While you're out, don't forget to pick me up a stick of butter and a loaf of bread, okay?
Never mind all that, Tommy. The plane's waiting.
Okay, I'll drop in on him right away.
Tommy, Blofeld's tracking you. You've got to get the information as quickly as possible, and for God's sakes, man, don't screw up like you did with David Ferry.
Expecting GoldenEye 2, you're not going to get it. Our game basically has the best elements of GoldenEye, which were the sniping, the detailed limb collision, and awesome enemy death animations, plus all the things that you'd expect in a great James Bond game, like skiing, driving, and underwater scuba levels. We really wanted to have an integrated game where you would be James Bond, and basically Bond goes from one mode to another in the movies. He might be on foot one second, and then he might hop on a pair of skis and escape down a mountain the next. And that's the type of thing we were trying to convey. In other levels, you'll be in your car racing down a treacherous mountain path and then have to jump out of your cars and dispatch some enemies. We did motion capture stunts with guys in rigs on trampolines doing all these flips and stuff, and it just looks just like a Bond film.
Now, what are some of the things that weren't possible technically on the N64?
We're going to take full advantage of the fact that we're on the CD, we can have awesome audio and video capability, so it actually is going to look and feel just like the Tomorrow Never Dies movie.
Bond. James.
In all the great Bond films, Bond picks up women, and a lot of them. And there's no reason with today's rating system in the video game industry that in our game, Bond can't pick up women. So we're planning on including a level where you basically hit the X button if we want to, pick up the girl, and maybe a circle if you don't.
Goodbye, Mr. Bond.
It's one of the things that'll make the title even that much more amusing and fun for the Bond fan.
Hey, you need any motion capture help with any of those scenes?
I think we're going to need to motion capture some dances, Tommy.
Cool.
Oh my!
Skater is another of Sega's Model 2 super hits. Here's a quick tip. Push start. Select your level. At the character selection screen, push left choose 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Right choose 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Then left choose indefinitely until you highlighted the surfer. Push start and you've got Alex. You're good to go. Ride the wave, baby.
Hey, it's time for the Tekken 3 move of the week. This time it's a new one from Brian Fury. Back plus right punch plus left punch. Left punch plus both kicks. Back plus right punch. Left punch. Right kick.
Today on the Simpatico Question of the Week, Eric Kim from Ottawa, Ontario asks, what kinds of new technologies went into Rare's Banjo-Kazooie?
Rare always comes forward with some new technology, and they've definitely been doing that lately with their games like GoldenEye and Diddy Kong Racing last year. What new technologies can we look forward to in Banjo-Kazooie?
Part of this is refining the mip mapping technology. Obviously, a lot of companies are using mip mapping on the Nintendo 64, and there's a couple different ways to use it. You can either pre-generate your mip maps or generate these mip maps on the fly. This has been the most effective way to do mip mapping on the Nintendo 64. And I think Rare has excelled beyond what everyone else has thought possible. A smooth mip map transition is very effective.
To send us your questions, stop by our website at www.electplay.com.
You don't understand, it's after us. It's big. It's got huge teeth, a big beak, bulgy eyes, feathers, fur everywhere.
Yeah, and pigs can fly.
No bears can fly. Bad guys beware. Here comes Banjo-Kazooie, where you're both bird and bear with amazing powers. There's never been anything like this head-banging, sky-flying, rock-hopping, egg-shooting, tag-teaming duo. Banjo-Kazooie, only for Nintendo.
Lee from PMP Games here. What do you think buying video games is going to be like in the year 2020? Someday, you might not even have to leave your home to purchase video games. Someday, you might not be able to hold the games you purchase in your hands either. Hey! Whether you can visit us at one of our retail locations in Winnipeg or online at pmpgamesonline.com, we appreciate your support as we support Victor and the Electric Playground Classic. Another classic episode of EP is coming up next week, so play it loud and play forever.
What'd you think about World Cup 98 for Electronic Arts?
Oh, World Cup 98 has got to be one of the coolest looking sports games. Now, I'm glad we're talking about soccer because, you know, I got my Tommy soccer shirt on.
All right, so let's talk about these three games independently. PC version first.
Okay, PC has got the best graphics of any sports game, best motion capture of any game, network play. I mean, this is the best version of the game out of the PC, PlayStation, and N64. Best version.
I'd go as far to say that this is the best sports video game I've ever played.
I give it a 9.76312. The N64 version, I would give a solid 9 to. It doesn't look as good as the
PC version.
PC version.
Resolution's not there. All the frames of animation.
All the characters aren't there.
Yeah.
You know, they have like 5 or 6 heads, but they don't have every single person has its own unique head.
And the classic cup options too aren't as cool as they are in the PC version.
Right.
Gameplay-wise, the N64 version is almost the best out of the three.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Because it's got the incredible Nintendo controller. I mean, it's just perfect for that. So what do you think of the PlayStation version of World Cup?
The PlayStation version, I'd give it an 8.5. I thought the N64 version and PC version were a lot better. The
PlayStation's missing a few frames of animation.
It's missing frames of animation, so it's a little bit choppy. It's not awful, don't get me wrong, it's not terrible by any means. It's just when you played the PC and N64 versions, you're kind of used to, so it's a little choppier. The graphics...
The analog control, though, it's really nice. One way that it does beat both the N64 and the PC version is you can have 8 people at a time.
Yes.
Which is really cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Great. I'd give the PlayStation version of World Cup 98 a 9. I'd give the N64 version of World Cup 98 a 9.5. And on the PC, World Cup 98 is a 10 out of 10. So Vigil 98 for the PlayStation. What'd you think, man?
Ooh, now this was a great game too.
Activision got it right on the PlayStation.
Vigil 98, I mean, okay, let's face it, okay, it's a Twisted Metal ripoff.
Yeah.
You're in a car, you're shooting other cars in a city. But the effects that are in this game, the tracks are amazing.
Much improved.
Some of the tracks, the Ghost Town, did you go on the Ghost Town and go into that thing and you get caught by the twister? And Uncle Henry, it's a twister, it's a twister. Once you pick a car and you're in, what is it, quest mode or something? Whatever it is. Once you pick a car, you have about 5 or 6 tracks that you have to compete, and then there's like a boss car at the end of it.
Right.
Once you've done that, and it's relatively quick, I mean, you can get it in an hour or 2 hours.
4 or 5 tracks, and then you're into the boss.
Right.
Yeah.
And then once you beat it on that, you can go and do another vehicle, and now you have to do all different tracks now. That's cool. So
it's a different quest for each different vehicle.
And the multiplayer mode's awesome.
It really is.
I like the way you can switch between either horizontal or vertical in the 1 and 2 player.
I would give this a 9 out of 10. I had a lot of fun playing this game. I definitely recommend it.
I had tons of fun. I give it a 9.5.
What did you think about Road Rash 3D from Electronic Arts for the PlayStation?
Let me just say this. Road Rash on the Genesis was one of my favorite games. And what I loved about it is it was real simple. You could go in and you see a guy in the distance, you go up on him, you nail him in the head, you take his stuff, and you keep flying by. It was fun stuff. This game, I found it way too hard to hit somebody and drive at the same time.
I really like this.
It was fun to play, but it wasn't Road Rash. If you're buying this game because you want to beat people off the bike, I'll tell you the best game. The best part of the game is the great motion capture of falling off the bike. All I did was crash into stuff. It doesn't matter.
You just run over somebody, it's like, and all you see is like people freaking out into the camera.
One thing that was cooler than the original
original Genesis version, now you can actually branch off. You can go left or you go right.
It actually is 3D, so you can take off anywhere you want to go. But I love the new bikes. I like the characters. I like the gangs. The music was really cool.
All the different bands
all
doing the music.
I really like that Tea Party song. I would give Road Rash 3D an 8 out of 10. It's a solid game.
Why didn't you give this game a 10? Why is it an 8 out of 10?
It needs better graphics. It needs better graphics.
Better control and fun factor.
It needs 2-player. That would make it better.
Control and fun factor. I
like the control.
You gotta be able to beat guys
and
better.
I had fun. It won on both those counts. Control and fun are great. That's why it gets an 8 out of 10.
No, very sluggish. Very
8
sluggish.
out of 10.
I give it a 6.
No.
No.
Joe Perry.
Playground, Tommy.
From Aerosmith.
Nah.
All right, go back to Electric Playground for a second.
No, I want to watch the World Cup.
All right.
Watch this anytime.
Okay.
Italy.
Oh yeah!
You know, 30 minutes just ain't enough time. We'll see you next week.
Keep this eye wide open and that one totally shut.
Production assistance for the Electric Playground is provided by Nintendo of Canada, makers of 1080 Snowboarding. Keep.net, makers of Netfighter. Electronic Arts, makers of Need for Speed 3. Namco, makers of Tekken 3.
That's it. That's been making my eyes laugh. Okay, no more cat. That's it.
This classic episode of The Electric Playground was brought to you by P&P Games, your source for everything video games. Support the partners that support The Electric Playground. Thanks for watching, and play forever.